you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. This video is gonna be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in and new home prices absolutely plunge. And so today we're gonna go over all of the recent stats for new homes. I'm gonna show you guys what inventory is at. I'm also gonna issue you guys a couple warnings of things that I've noticed now that I have a client that's under contract with a new home. So I'm gonna go over warnings. We're gonna take a look at incentives, and we're also gonna go into the shrinkflation narrative. I'm going to show you guys a chart that looks like this so that we can really figure out, are prices only going down because of shrinkflation, or are there other things at play here like ridiculous buying incentives and massive amounts of underreported inventory? So either way, you guys, I really hope you enjoy this video. And if you guys can, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, shoot me a comment below, and please, you guys, please enjoy yourself and enjoy the video. I hope you learn. Now, jumping right into the data, this is the 10-year outlook for permits. Now, what I want to point out, guys, is where we were at pre-COVID or pre-lockdowns. Really, this is where we were kind of at as far as the average, 1.2 to 1.3. But right before basically we went into lockdowns, we were at about 1.46 million permits being issued to build houses. Now, this includes SFRs and other things of that nature. Now, fast forward today, you guys, we went up month over month from 1.48 million to 1.52 million. So they're increasing. Again, they're increasing the building, which is what we want because we do need more inventory. So we don't want them to stop doing this. It's just we need affordable housing. But either way, you guys, permits did go up month over month. Now take a look at this, guys. This is really, really crazy stuff here. This is new privately owned housing units starts. Okay, so this is total starts. Now the interesting thing is there's this massive jump up right here and starts right before lockdowns. So technically we are under where we were at pre-COVID. But if we look at the historical average, we're sitting at 1.1 to 1.2. And if we look at that average, we are well above that, sitting at 1.5 million units being started. Really massive increase upward month over month, going from 1.37 million all the way up to 1.52 million. So they're starting a lot of construction. They are not stopping, you guys. The amount of building right now and underreporting is getting just as bad as it has been. It has slowed down from peak, but it's still a lot. And this is good. Now, this is probably the craziest set of data right here. This is new privately owned housing units, y'all, that is under construction. Now, I've maxed this out. This is going back all the way to the late 60s, early 70s. And you can see as far as building, as far as investing in the real estate market, there's never been as many units under construction, okay? So right now we're sitting at 1.66 million units that have basically been under construction. It's historical. Absolutely historical. And you can see the run up. It's been skyrocketing since about 2012. Very, very, very interesting to see this, guys. But here's the thing. This also includes 5 units or more. So let me separate this out to only single family residents. Now, here's the chart over the last 10 years of single family residents. So one thing I want to point out, you guys, if we go from pre-COVID, we were sitting at 519,000 units started for SFRs, which means if we compare then to right now, it's up 31.5%. So they're building 31.5% more single family residential units than they were pre-COVID, sitting at 683,000. Obviously, we want that to be more. We peaked at about 831,000. This is just SFRs. Again, single family units. You can see that right here. So that is up month over month, barely. But the good news is that is up 31.5% from pre-COVID. Now, unlike existing. Okay, so existing homes, I really want to make this point because some people get this confused. I'm not talking about existing homes. We're only talking about new homes. I understand not everyone is as lucky as I am that lives next to massive clusters of new construction, okay? Some people don't live next to that, but if you do live next to that, you're in a situation like I'm in to where we see massive price declines. I see massive price declines pretty much everywhere I go. And we see that when we take a look at the nationwide data and only look at new homes, you guys, it's down massively. Let me show you. Now, first of all, we updated to 400,500. We are so close, you guys, so close to being under 400,000. $300,000. Now, as far as what that does, that brings us back all the way to July of 2021. So if you have been waiting to buy a new home for prices to go down, congratulations, you guys. You dodged a bullet and you didn't buy at the peak. Prices are down. We're back all the way to middle 2021. That's still not enough, right? Obviously, that's still not enough. Pre-COVID, we were at the low 300,000s, but it's a start. You guys, from peak, we peaked in October of 2022. You could see this is just the data, $496,800. We are down $96,000 from peak, or rather 19.3% from peak. Now, when we look at year over year, we're down 7.5%. Now, what's very interesting, guys, is they made multiple revisions. So they revised January downward. This was 420. It's now 414. So they revised that downward, and another massive plummet, month over month plummet from 414 to 400,000. So the trajectory of the prices for new homes is great. Now, I have a lot of people saying that's just because of shrinkflation. We're going to get to that in a minute. Now, here's why I think this is happening. Big reason why is inventory, is supply. In other words, you guys, we've basically been sustained for supply right about since February of 2022 on. Now, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying sustained 6 months. We actually hit 6 months back here in 2021. You guys can see that, but we lost that 6 months starting at the end of 2021, and then we picked it back up again in February of 2022. But we've had 6 months or more of inventory for over 2 years, and I believe that is a predominant reason why we see prices going down. That is hyper supply. And again, you guys should know by now, this is underreported. But regardless, we're sitting at a whopping 8.4 months of inventory. In order for the market to be considered the buyer's market that we all want so much, you have to have technically 6 months. So we've had that for over 2 years with new homes. Now, as far as month over month, we went from 8.3 months to 8.4 months of inventory. Now, we peaked at about 10.1. So it's going to be very interesting to continue to watch this. And again, I keep saying this is underreported data. There's a lot more data that's missing from this equation. The situation behind the scenes, I'm going to tell you guys, and I've traveled around the nation, multiple different states, multiple different communities. It's everywhere. It's a trend. It's not just here in Houston. This is happening everywhere with the underreporting, and they can get away with that. Now, I've been hearing, the narrative, it's only shrinkflation. It's only shrinkflation. So let me show you guys a chart that I made. Now, basically, I'm just going to take the prices of new homes, and I'm going to compare what the sizes of houses were when the price decline started. So let's see what role shrinkflation is playing and what conclusions we can come up with by reviewing this data. Okay, now let me tell you what I'm doing, you guys. Now, first of all, I'm only doing two comparisons. I'm comparing the sizes of houses from Q4 of 2022 to Q1 of 2023. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because we peaked right here. You guys see, we peaked in October of 2022. We peaked as far as price. So when we compare the peak, which is right here, okay, to the first quarter of 2023, which is right there. So this first line right here, okay, when we compare that, all right, and I put bullet points right here. When we compare that, we can see, again, this is when prices started going down, all right? So what we see here is from Q4 to 2022 to Q1 of 2023, prices went down 11.6%. However, and here's what really blows the shrinkflation narrative out of the water. Even though prices went down 11.6%, median size went up 3.6%. Average size went up, not down, 1%. So during that period of time, you guys, prices were plummeting and houses were getting bigger. However, when we look at Q4, which is right here, of 2022 to Q4 of 2023, we had price decline of roughly 15.5%. Now, understand, I'm not using January and February because I don't have the quarterly size data yet. I could use those and it would show even more price decline, but I am not using that because I do not have the remaining data I need. But when we look at that year over year, that Q4 2022 to Q4 of 2023, we can see prices went down 15.5%, but the sizes, the median size of houses went down 10.2%. So the price decline exceeded house size going down. Now I have the average here as well. It's not really fair to compare average against median when everything's median, but I did want to throw that up to show you guys, yeah, actually the average square footage did go down 13.3% in that time period. But again, when we look at this comparison, prices went up. So what happened after Q1 of 2023? Think about it. What happened? Now, I believe what happened and why we see what we see here, the incentives to buy. The incentives to buy new homes went from temporary buy downs to all out 30-year fixed rates at 4.25%. And I believe as a result of the buying incentives accelerating Q2 on in 2023, that slowed the bleeding of price decline. And when I say slow the bleeding, I'm talking about right here. Okay. So I think what we see right there as far as price decline kind of slowing, I think it's just slowing the bleeding. And I believe when we look at January and February, because that went, that's going down pretty significantly, it appears, okay, we need more data, but it appears the buying incentives are no longer working, at least at the start of 2024. So it's going to be really fascinating to see what happens next. And to give you guys an idea of what type of incentives are going on, at least here in Texas, look at what Lennar is offering. Interest rates are in the 7% right now. Okay. So interest rates are in the 7%. Lennar is offering a 4.25 fixed rate plus $10,000 in closing, and many of their houses around my area are at 2021 prices. So Lennar has successfully rewound the clock in the space-time continuum to take buyers back into the 2021 era. And that's why they're able to sell so much. But again, even though those are ridiculous buying incentives, everyone has to acknowledge that is a ridiculous buying incentive that you see right there on your screen. It appears that it's no longer working at the start of this year. Now, remember, you guys, I also said there is a lack of data reporting for new home constructions, and where I go to figure out what's going on with new homes, again, greatly underreported. I know that because I walked my butt into these communities and even in Boise. So this is Boise right here. You can go to New Home Source, put the area that you want to go in. You can look at what communities they have. They have 148 communities. You look at how many homes they have. They have 1,244 homes, the type of builders. It's a really, really good website as far as tracking, but it lacks data, you guys. Now, what I like to do is I like to go to the clusters. So here's a cluster, a little bit of a cluster here. Here's a little bit of a cluster. Here's a little cluster right there. I like to follow the clusters because that's really where we're going to see those price declines. Now, for the areas of existing homes that are around these clusters, I believe those are the existing home subdivisions that are at the biggest risk of price decline as a result of the hyper supply and price drops from new builds spreading to existing. Okay, that's what I expect is going to happen, especially in places like Boise. Regardless, the name of this site is New Home Source. Now, I want to issue you guys a couple warnings. Currently, I have a client that went under contract with a new home build. Obviously, you guys, we talked about renting. I encourage them to rent. They are an extremely, extremely well-off family with proper expectations and no consumer debt, plenty of money saved. But regardless, couple warnings I want to issue, and I warn them, trust me, until it's blue in the face. Generally, when you purchase new construction, your earnest money is not protected, which means generally the moment you sign that contract, it doesn't matter what you get back on the inspections. If you find a giant crack in the middle of your foundation, it's not necessarily grounds to get your earnest money back. So understand, if you're going to go purchase a new home, generally you're naked as far as your earnest money. There's like no protection. Now, another thing that happened is, and I'm looking at a Perry house. Perry's a little bit better of a builder. Now, what they do, you guys, new home builders get inspections. Okay, they get inspections at various phases of the process. Now, it's encouraged that if you purchase a new home, review the existing inspections that the builder has already done. Now, you would think that would be common, right? It's not. In fact, when I asked for it, the rep, who's been there for a minimum of 5 years, said I was the first person in her entire career that has ever asked to review existing reports. And you guys, broke my heart. It broke my heart, not because of being embarrassed because of my industry. It broke my heart because I started thinking, think about all the customers. Think about all the buyers that didn't get to review those reports because the agents were so concerned about their income. And on top of that, you guys, I waived $6,000 of the commission that the builder was offering to get them a price cut of $15,000. I told the builder, let me tell you who I am. We came to an impasse. Okay, here's the price. This is what you're gonna get. I'm like, you know what? My customers really want this, but the price is too high. I need you guys to match what I'm willing to waive. So I waived $6,000 and they gave us almost another $9,000 on top of the $6,000 I waived. My customer is happy. But regardless, let me show you what I read in the contract. This really got me depressed, you guys. Let me read this, okay? This is from a new home build contract pertaining to property inspections. Seller retained various third parties to perform inspections on the property prior to closing. Copies of these reports are available for purchaser to review upon by purchaser at a mutually agreeable time. This is the thing, okay? This is the big thing here. Seller encourages, emphasis on encourages, purchaser to review these inspections. It says it right there in the contract. So when I asked the rep for these reports, she's like, oh, we don't do that. You have to get your own. And I'm like, well, what about section 3(1)(c) in the contract where the builder is encouraging us to review that? So she didn't respond for like 15 minutes, called her manager and was like, oh yeah, they can, but we can't give it to you, but you can come into the office. Now, the thing is the earnest money is done, right? So even if we review those, there's something wrong, we lose the earnest money. But the thing is, guys, wouldn't you rather know if there's anything wrong during the construction process? I mean, to lose the earnest money is devastating, but you have to know how the construction process went, especially with new home builds. So again, ask the builder for their existing inspections, please. Anyways, guys, that's going to sum it up for new homes. I mean, do me a favor, comment below. All right. Why do you think for new homes, we have price decline? We have inventory exploding. We have insane buying incentives. It's a buyer's market. But yet for existing homes, we don't have that on a nationwide average. In fact, some metros have new highs in the winter months. So it's all over the place right now. I'm interested to hear what you think. Now, again, incentives. Again, I think primarily it's the hyper supply. I think that's pretty easy to kind of safely assume. But other than that, guys, join the Discord. I have the free home buying class if you want to learn how to purchase. Stay patient out there. Don't, if you can wait, please wait. It's probably best. It's the important thing, guys. It's how you're waiting. Don't just wait with your head in the sand. If you're going to wait, build your purchasing power, your credit, your income, your assets, become an expert in your local market. Now, other than that, guys, if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck and I hope you win.